at the orientation of SBI Youth for India Fellowship Program 2021. Without wasting much time, I request Mr. Nixon Joseph Sir, Chief Operating Officer and President of SBI Foundation, to please give the welcome address.
Very good afternoon to all of you and a very hearty welcome. Today is a gold letter day for SBI Youth for India Fellowship and SBI Foundation. Honorable Minister of State for Sports and Youth Affairs, Mr. Kiren Rijiju, is, in spite of his hectic schedule, has set apart time to address and inspire our SBI Youth for India Fellows who are attending the orientation program at Mahuda, Orissa, headquarters of Gram Vikas, our partner NGO. Launched in 2011 with 27 fellows in the first cohort, SBI Youth for India Fellowship is a unique rural development fellowship program managed in partnership with reputed NGOs of the country. The fellowship is now in its 8th batch, with 100 bright young men and women joining this year in spite of the challenges posed by COVID. It provides a platform for India's highly educated urban youth to join hands with rural communities, empathize with their struggles, and connect with their aspirations. Every year, as a new batch joins the diverse community of SBI Youth for India Fellows, they bring with themselves a renewed sense of hope and aspiration. The spreading of hope and resilience by our fellows is not a success for SBI Foundation and SBI alone, but is a triumph for humanity. It is noteworthy to mention that the fellowship experience has so far given rise to over 30 alumni-led social enterprises, supporting our Honorable Prime Minister's vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat. Even the current batch of 100 fellows, when they work in remote villages on projects empowering the marginalized and find innovative ways to utilize the local resources, we are proud to state we will be contributing to an Atmanirbhar Bharat. Each year, our fellows come out with projects that make a difference to a minimum of 10,000 families in remote rural locations of India. That is the power of this fellowship. This fellowship is all about youth, their aspirations, their thoughts to bring change, their desire to see beyond themselves, and their devotion to serving others. This 10-day orientation program at Mahuda, Orissa, is conducted to provide a clear understanding about the development sector and the challenges at grassroots level to the youth who are new to development sector, and also to bring them face to face with inspiring leaders so as to provide them with adequate inspiration and never give up spirit to successfully complete their fellowship journey. To our fellows who are themselves inspiring by their compassion to the less privileged and passion to bring change, we present to you with great pride as chief guest for today's event, our Honorable Minister of State for Sports and Youth Affairs, Mr. Kiren Rijiju, our chief guest, brings with energy, fitness, passion for change and development, and youthfulness, which would inspire anyone. The host of activities, be it encouraging sportsmen and youth or development activities, our Honorable Minister does it with incredible passion, enthusiasm, and determination. His sheer presence therefore brings energy, positivity, and great inspiration. I have been following his social media tweets regularly and seeing the overwhelming interest with which Honorable Minister encourages youth, sports, and any unique achievements is a real indication of the warm personality and outlook of our chief guest. On a personal level, I'm elated to state that whenever I have tweeted about my completing full marathons, Honorable Minister has liked the tweet, which has encouraged me so much. That in spite of his hectic schedule, Honorable Minister is finding time to specially recognize and encourage people is a perfect example of time management, as well as of his humility and intense passion to see change. All these are learning points for all of us, and especially for our youngsters. No doubt, he is considered as one of the most iconic leaders of our times from the Northeast. Sir, it is my proud privilege and honor to extend a very warm welcome to you and present you before the inspiring 2020 batch of SBI Youth for India Fellows. It is a matter of great pride for us at SBI Foundation and our fellows that respected chairman of SBI, Mr. Dinesh Khara, is with us. It is a clear indication of the importance SBI top management is placing on CSR activities. Even in board meetings, we have seen the respected chairman taking keen interest in SBI Youth for India Fellowship activities and the activities of SBI Foundation, which shows his passion to drive SBI as a responsible corporate citizen. From joining as a probationary officer to reaching the position of the chairman of India's largest bank, sir, your professional achievements are a source of motivation for us. Sir, we are extremely proud and fortunate that you are here today to address our fellows. I extend a very warm welcome to our respected chairman, Mr. Dinesh Khara. Once again, a very hearty welcome to all our new fellows, parents of our fellows, alumni, and all those who are watching us on YouTube live. Thank you.
We now request respected Chairman Sir Shri Dinesh Khara ji to address the fellows, please. Please.
Very good afternoon to all of you. Honorable Minister for State for Sports and Youth Affairs and Minister of State for Minority Affairs, Mr. Kiren Rijiju. Ms. Manjula Kalyansundaram, MD and CEO of SBI Foundation. Mr. Nixon Joseph, Chief Operating Officer and President of SBI Foundation, and dear Youth for India Fellows. It's a matter of great pride and honor that we have with us Mr. Kiren Rijiju, Honorable Minister, to address the SBI Youth for India Fellowship 2020 batch as they commence their journey into the development sector. That in spite of his hectic schedule, Honorable Minister has spared his valuable time is an intense message to our fellows on how important a journey that they're embarking upon and the need for more educated youths to become change makers. Thank you so much, sir, for your kind presence. I'm sure your presence and the address to the fellows would be highly motivating and encouraging them to continue and complete this 12 months of arduous rural fellowship journey very successfully. At the outset, my congratulations to all the Youth for India fellows who have got enrolled themselves for this 2020 program for being selected as SBI Youth for India fellows. I know the competition has been intense and the selection process has been quite rigorous. More than 12,000 applications for the 100 fellowship opportunities were received, and you are the one who have got selected out of this kind of a large basket of applicants. I'm really proud of your achievement. Thank you for choosing to join us and share SBI Foundation's mission of holistic approach to India's developmental challenges, bringing positive changes to the marginalized and the vulnerable communities. All of you come from a variety of different backgrounds, but your commitment to positivity and also impacting the communities and also making a difference in the lives of those who are working in these areas actually speaks a lot in terms of your commitment. It is also a matter of pride that almost 70% of the youth who join SBI for Youth, who join as SBI Youth for India Fellows, continue to be in the development sector. That some of them become social entrepreneurs and provide jobs instead of being the job seekers. That gives me a great satisfaction. This is the 8th batch of our fellowship, which started in 2011, and 100 youths from all across India have joined the batch. We in SBI believe in the power of youth to transform India, and that is why we continue to support this fellowship year after year. As youngsters, you see opportunities where people see challenges. You seek solutions when others just focus on problems. In fact, by promoting this fellowship, SBI is investing in future leadership. It is our vision that the highly educated urban youth should understand the grassroots realities and use their innovation and creativity to resolve the pressing issues, thus contributing to the national development. In other words, through this fellowship, we are trying to bring out dynamic, independent young adults who face challenges with confidence, open-minded, responsible youth are able and are also willing to help our country and our planet to prosper and become a better place. I always believe that if we have the courage to challenge ideas, embrace our differences, and learn from each other, our potential is truly unlimited. That is what this fellowship journey is all about. Each batch of our fellows represent the rich Indian diversity and youth from Northeast to Maharashtra, Kashmir to Kerala. The project locations of the fellows are also in remote villages spread across the country. We always ensure that adequate representation of youths from Kashmir and Northeast are there in every batch. I'm proud to mention here that there are 13 youths from the Northeast in the current batch also. In 2018-19 and 2019-20, we were having 3 to 4 fellows representing Northeast. To expose the fellows to the rich and diverse Indian culture, we post fellows from across the geography, particularly from the south to the north and those from east to the west. The project also offers fellows an opportunity to work in the northeastern states. There we have taken some projects, particularly empowering rural women, livelihood opportunities, disposable plates from arca leaves is something which is very, very popularly promoted there. Social enterprises based on locally available resources, supporting weaving communities, alternate livelihood opportunities to farmers, intercropping, fruit orchards, food processing, etc. We have more than 400 plus alumni from Youth for India. We have partnered with 12 NGOs to implement this program, out of which 2 are from Northeast. In this connection, I'm also very proud to inform that we have adopted 5 villages, each for the holistic development in the state of Assam, Meghalaya, Mizoram, and Nagaland under our Gram Seva program. The road ahead, 13 months in remote villages, will not be so easy, especially as most of you are from the urban areas, but I would recommend don't give it up. This fellowship journey is not only about making changes in the villages, but also on transforming oneself by facing challenges and overcoming them. By stepping out of your comfort zone, I'm sure over the next 12 months, you will find in yourself living up to the high values expected of SBI Youth for India Fellow, thus being true role models and good citizens of India. All of you highly inspire me by joining this fellowship at a critical time when the nation is fighting a pandemic, by going to the villages and helping the rural communities at this hour of need. It will make a huge difference in their lives. By deciding to devote 13 months of your life for rural India, you have become great sons and daughters of Mother India. You have demonstrated that at times of crisis, all of us can be a true force for good for our nation and spread the message of hope. Once again, I welcome you all, brilliant young men and women, to this great movement called SBI Youth for India Fellowship. Bring pride to yourself, your parents and friends, SBI Youth for India Fellowship, SBI Foundation, and SBI by making a positive difference in the lives of the less privileged. Once again, I take this opportunity to thank Honorable Minister for sparing his valuable time to encourage all the participants of SBI Youth for India Fellowship. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing those words. Now we request Honorable Minister of State for Youth Affairs and Sports and Minister of Minority Affairs, Shri Kiren Rijiju ji, to address the fellows, please. Sir, please.
Namaskar. The learned Chairman of the State Bank of India, Shri Dinesh Khara ji, the MD of the SBI Foundation, Mrs. Manjula Kalyan Sundaram ji, and the Chief Operating Officer of the SBI Foundation, Shri Joseph Ji, and they are very young, enterprising, hardworking fellows who are joining us today on this very important event where you are going to begin and embark on a journey started by SBI Foundation, Youth for India. This, I believe, Youth for India fellowship is very critical because we are looking at rural India. When somebody intends to go to rural India or any rural place, that shows his passion, his desire to work in much more difficult circumstances and difficult areas of our country. Normally, people are attracted to urban areas, cities where you have all the modern amenities, where you can carry forward your work much more easily. But when we look at rural India, there are certain challenges. But over the years, these challenges are being addressed and addressed effectively. I have seen your profiles, very impressive profiles. First of all, let me congratulate the SBI for taking up such an important steps, and that to focus on rural India. I have a special respect and a special connection with SBI. There are long stories how I am deeply connected with SBI, but stories will be told some other time. But I have lots of very good friends working in SBI. And SBI has been a body which brought us into financial system, especially in rural India. We grew up with SBI as part of our normal daily life in rural India. And that is how I have this deep association with SBI. When looking at the profiles of the fellows, such a diverse background, and those who have studied in Harvard, Oxford, many foreign universities, and within our country, these prestigious IIMs, IITs, different colleges of law, science and arts, social studies, and with different professionals. I was very impressed with the background. They have worked with Tata Motors, Reliance, L&T, Deloitte, Ernst & Young, KPMG, Goldman Sachs, so many. That shows that how valuable this program is and how much this particular SBI Foundation Fellowship Program has really attracted the young minds of India. And it is, I have full faith in the entire program that it will transform rural India. Besides various government programs which are being carried out, these kind of important steps are going to really strengthen our rural India. I always believe that the cities are like our arms and the villages are like our legs. Villages are a foundation of India. If our villages are weak, we cannot build a strong India. So rural India has to be empowered. Now we have already empowered politically, and the social empowerment is going on. But the actual empowerment will happen when we give them economic sustenance, economic empowerment, and that will make rural India truly a foundation, strong foundation for a prosperous India. And I'm sure when you choose to take up this fellowship, you must have your own understanding about rural India, your own outlook, and different fields. You have various thematic programs. These thematic programs, alternative energy, education, environment protection, food security, health, sanitation. These are so important. And besides that, so many, economic activities, social entrepreneurship, technology, traditional crafts, water management, and then like women empowerment and all. Such a diverse thematic programs which are, in offering for you. And you can pick up amongst that. You must also be aware of the government's various, programs which are going on. The programs which are launched by the government in recent times have in a way enhanced the capacity of the rural people and improved the economic conditions to many extent. The social inclusive programs, opening of these Jan Dhan Khatas, and then of course this DBT, which are really reaching out to the rural areas. These are changing the lives of the rural people. There was a time when I became member of parliament at a very young age. It was a challenge for us how government schemes are to be brought at the doorsteps of rural India. It was a huge challenge. Once the former Prime Minister had said that 15% of the money only reaches the rural India. The beneficiaries are far away from the actual, target of the policy planners. But now things have changed. Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji has been talking about digital India, social inclusiveness, financial inclusiveness, and there are many, many more government schemes which are not happening compartmentally, but is happening parallelly together to transform the rural India. And there is a particular program called aspirational districts to be brought at par with so-called more advanced districts. And I am also in charge of 7 such districts which are below the parameters of all the development indications in our country. So we are working very hard trying to identify those locations, those districts. We are doing everything. So while you are choosing the areas of your programs and areas of your choice, I'm sure, looking at your background and your passion, there's no doubt in my mind that your contribution in empowering and transforming rural India will be very, very meaningful. During this pandemic time, also from my own ministry, I have done certain things which I would briefly mention to you. We have, under Nehru Yuva Kendra Sangathan, roughly 35 lakhs volunteers. And under NSS, we have registered 40 lakhs volunteers. Now, close to the 75 volunteers, besides scouts and guides, and there are many more, we are going to rural India. We keep listening since childhood that देश को सुधारना है तो गांव का सुधारो, गांव बुनियाद है, गांव की ओर चलो. Even in our political campaign, we always say गांव की ओर चलो. So I have asked the volunteers, who are very, very hardworking volunteers, and they have been very, integral part of the whole campaign to empower the villagers, the rural areas to fight the COVID-19, and also to help them in various other activities to make themselves much more sustainable. Now, this kind of very professional action by the SBI Foundation and this Youth for India, this is something I think it is a very powerful message. It really carries forward the intention of the government, and SBI being one of the most respected institutions of our country. When we talk about bank, SBI is the name which comes into our mind. So SBI has the integrity. SBI has the background. SBI has the credibility of delivering many things. So it's also fortunate for our young fellows to be associated with this SBI Foundation program. And I must congratulate all the young fellows for being selected for this very prestigious fellowship program which you are embarking on. I have many things to share, but I would not take much time, but I must just share a few thoughts about what is my feeling about the youth of India and what is our effort in making India a sporting nation as well as making India a fit nation. So under my ministry, we are launching two parallel programs. Fit India program, that is called Fit India Movement, and parallelly Khelo India. Now, you must be aware of this thing. When a nation is called a young nation and the youth are not physically fit, if the youth are not playful, if the youth are not engaged in construction of our nation, then this strength, the so-called the demographic strength, may turn into a demographic burden. Now, we cannot afford that in the present circumstances. So to empower, to energize, and to strengthen our youth force, we have to make them fit physically and mentally. So the Fit India movement, which was launched last year when I took over as the Minister for the Youth Affairs and Sports, the Honorable Prime Minister Modi ji had asked me to take it forward as a movement. So we named it Fit India Movement. This is not merely a government program, but it is people's movement. People will have to drive this movement. So during last 1.5 years, I have seen it. Thousands and thousands of private entities are joining us voluntarily. And as I'm speaking to you, more than 1.5 lakhs schools have registered under Fit India Movement. Now, once they are registered under Fit India Movement, we provide them a certificate, as well as we are planning to provide them certain financial incentives also. So CBSE and all other, the Ministry of Education is carrying forward the Fit India in their own way. In a similar fashion, all the central armed forces, railways, all important, all the government of India, ministries and agencies and corporations and all, and the state governments are taking up this Fit India movement in a large scale. When I saw the fitness index of India in the beginning, I was very disappointed. India was not considered as a fit nation because more than 70% of the Indian population were not physically fit as per certain parameters. We are not used to do exercise. We are not used to do certain things. You can do anything. Fit India doesn't mean that you have to play or you have to do hardcore exercise. You can walk, you can jog, you can run, you can do yoga, you can do whatever you want, but you have to be physically active. Now, this is a long subject which I will not talk in detail, but fitness means it's for all, it's easy, it's fun. So while you are there in the village, please encourage the village youth to do all kind of physical activities so that they remain active. Stay away from anything like drugs or bad habits. Engage yourself in any of the fitness activities. And on the other side, we aspire to become a global power in sports. You must be aware that in the Olympics, India's position is very dismal. A nation of more than 1 billion population cannot be satisfied with 1 silver, 1 bronze, 1 medal, 2 medals in the Olympics. So I have set a target by 2028 Olympics, which is to be held in Los Angeles. We have to be in the top 10. And for that, a detailed program has been worked out. I have drafted everything. So before I made this announcement that this is our intention, I had made all the necessary important arrangements and policies, as well as some actions have already been started to ensure that India reaches there. So Khelo India within the country is making a great changes in the lives of the youth. Today, the youth of India, the young athletes are started to looking sports as a career option. Sports is a big industry. Globally, if you see sports, it creates huge employment. It is whether you have the local league, local tournament, international tournament, the amount of commercial activities it generates, not only the production of sporting goods, industries for the sports items and all, besides that, the activities itself. So sports is a huge industry. We have to realize the potential of sports in our country. So we cannot just remain as a cricket playing nation. India has to emerge as a truly global sporting powerhouse for the Olympics, for the global sports. We have to realize and understand that. We have potentials. And I'm working out in details. I'm going up to the grassroots level. And for your information, I've started the target Olympic podium for the juniors. I'm picking up young boys and girls of 9 years, 10 years, 12 years, and giving them stipend. We are paying young athletes 25,000 per month. And we are taking care of their accommodation, fooding, coaching, training, everything. And on top of that, depositing 25,000 in their account so that becomes a security for their family. While making champions out of these young boys and girls, we are securing the economic conditions of their parents, because most of our young athletes are coming from rural areas. And some of the hardcore sports like athletics, combat sports, these are the sports where normally, boys and girls from the humble background, from the rural background are more interested. They are more available for that. And of course, in our cities, towns, we have tennis, cricket, or like golf, or all those sports where it attracts more of the urban people. So urban India, rural India, we have to combine our strength. And I have no doubt in my mind, the Prime Minister has set a very clear agenda for India's status in the Global Committee of Nations. Now there, we have to do our bit. So I'm very, very excited to see you young fellows. You are there to contribute in creating this Atmanirbhar Bharat. You whatever you are doing, whatever this SBI is doing, is basically laying a strong foundation for Atmanirbhar Bharat. I must compliment the chairman of the SBI, Khara, and the team for taking up such an important steps to get the very educated, experienced, very brainy youth and get them work in rural India. I think this is such a fantastic idea. So SBI Youth for India Fellowship, I think this is one of the finest fellowship program in India, and the credibility, nobody can question, because SBI ka thappa laga hua hai isme. When there is a SBI, the credibility cannot be questioned. So young fellows, congratulations to all of you again, and my best wishes to all of you in your future endeavor. And once again, I congratulate the SBI for attracting such brain and bright brains of our country and getting them to work in rural India. And then, of course, they will come back, and they will come back with a change rural India. They will definitely make our rural India much more prosperous, and they will contribute in their own respective field, in their own respective characteristics. So once again, thank you for inviting me. And once again, my best wishes to everyone in your wonderful journey. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing those inspiring words and those insights with the fellows. With your permission, sir, the fellows have a couple of questions, if you will please take.
Yes, sure.
One of the fellows, Nisha, has this question. That as we know, around 40% population of our country constitute youngsters. So how we as a country can utilize that full potential of this demographic dividend, where unemployment rate is still very high in our country, and how, as Youth for India fellows, we can contribute to that?
Oh, this is a very good question, but this is also a very general question. See, opportunities, if you can't create opportunities, the young people will become totally jobless. So when we talk about creating opportunities, there are various dimensions we can do in various other aspects also, how to create opportunities. So one is to create opportunities by understanding our strength. What is the strength of India? We Indians are very gifted, very intelligent people. But the only thing is we do not create the right opportunities for those youths, as well as we are unable to make the youth realize their potentials. One side, we have to make sure that our potentials are being realized. At the same time, we have to create opportunities. These have to go hand in hand. Otherwise, you become educated, but you become jobless. So we can't afford this kind of situation. Second time, when I always, feel this thing very close to my heart, that why our educated people are saying jobless. If you are truly, educated and truly understand about what you want to do, you cannot remain jobless. You will find out ways and means to employ yourself. So that is one of the word which SBI had used, is not to create job seekers, but job providers. That means if you really understand your ability and your potential, then I think the opportunities will come. But at the same time, as I said, as a government, as a people sitting in the government, we will have to find out ways and means to create opportunities for our youth. So both, we will have to go hand in hand. It's a parallel. Opportunities and potentials must come together. Otherwise, our strength will always remain as only potential. We will not be able to realize that.
Thank you so much, sir. Another question is, how do you see sports for development as a model for rural development?
Yes, I partially mentioned there earlier that sports is a big industry. See, let me narrate a small thing, factual thing which was happening in our country. Earlier time, when I was not even member of parliament, I have seen many sports persons struggling. So when sports persons struggle for their livelihood, it will never inspire the young generation. I have seen one of the footballer who played for India for 8 years. He represented India for 8 years. But when he retired, he didn't have money to pay the school fees. So when a player who had represented the country do not have the meager amount to pay fees for the children, this is a tragedy. I took this to my heart. I said, this is not acceptable. Now, what will happen? Those who can't even get into playing 11, if this is the condition of a person who plays for India. So, fortunately, I must thank my Honorable Prime Minister Modi ji for giving me this opportunity in this ministry. We have now launched series of programs. Even those who have played for India years, decades ago, we have made provisions that those who have indigent life, they are living in a very difficult financial condition, we are providing them financial assistance. All medical cares are being taken care of. Every day I sign 8-9 files for all the yesteryear players for their well-being. The playing, those athletes are no problem. We are giving them everything today. Many of the former players come and tell me that we wish you were our sports minister during our playing days. We wish Modi ji was our prime minister those days. Those days, nothing was there. So it never inspired. That is why they said, Kheloge, kudoge, banoge, kharab. Padhoge, likhoge, banoge, nawab. So if you play, you become nothing because of the certain circumstances. So we have to change the whole narrative. Today, we have changed it. Now the new slogan is, Padhoge, likhoge, banoge, nawab, kheloge, kudoge, honge, lajawab. So if you play, you will become superstar. We are creating superstars. That is how the younger generations are being inspired to take up sporting activities. Now, once you become a sports person, you become a star, it creates various opportunities. It's not only inspirational, but it creates opportunities, economic opportunities. You become a role model, you become the star. So we have to change the way in which we look at the sports. So I always say that India has a tradition of sports, but India doesn't have a sports culture. So now we have to create sports culture in our country. That is why the new education policy talks about fitness activities, sports as part of education. Before this new education policy was launched, I had a very intensive interaction with the the education minister and his officials. So I must thank Honorable Prime Minister and Education Ministry for making sports and physical activities as part of education system in India.
So one last question from Tanvi and Neha, our fellows. What, according to you, can be done to encourage women to participate in sports activities in rural areas?
Oh, well, all Beti Padhao, Beti Khilao, all this Khelo India program, Kheloge to Khiloge, these are all not merely slogans, but these are backed by solid program of the government. We must encourage our young girls in rural area to play. See, you must be aware that most of the India's medals in Asian Games and Olympics, maximum are brought by our girls, our sisters, our daughters. So India's potential, even if you see the ranking, FIFA ranking, women ranking is higher than men's ranking. So if you see, India is doing much better in the girls segment. So we have to ensure that our girls, especially in rural girls, must take up sporting activities. Some may play for passion, leisure, fitness. Some can take up sports as excellence, as career. So they should dream. Not these days is not only play for India. There are many leagues. There are like Kabaddi. Few years back, Kabaddi was just like, you play Kabaddi for India for 5-6 years. Then what? At the most, you can get a job in police, CRPF, Central Armed Forces. Now, they are getting crore Kabaddi players in the Kabaddi League. They become star. Now, they are not looking for job because they are earning lots of money. During this pickup of the players for the league, most of the players are getting more than 1 crore. So we have to tell our young girls in rural area that don't be shy, come forward, government is there. Tell them that sports minister and prime minister is there to back them up. Under Khelo India, I am forming a talent scouting committee. This committee is all region based, not one committee for the whole nation. I am today only, before coming to this program, I had a review meeting for the talent scouting committees. Now these committees will be formed regionally and they will go to village level and find out who are appropriately tuned into what sports. They'll find out, because you have to have this scientific methods to identify the various qualities at the young age, and then pick them up and put them in the sports academy. So sports for fun, sports for fitness, sports for excellence, sports for glory. One must play some sport. There's no age limit also. Even Chairman Saab, Khara Saab also can play for fun. For anybody, I kept telling my colleagues in the parliament also, everybody must play at least one game in lifetime. Now we are not playing for medals, but nobody stops me from playing. Please pick up at least one game and play. It makes you a better person, fitter person, and you become stronger so that you can contribute to the growth of the country in a better way.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I would request Madam Manjula Kalyanasundram, MD SBI Foundation, to please give the closing address. Please, ma'am.
Thank you, Priyavrat. On behalf of SBI Foundation and the Youth for India Fellows of the 2021 batch, Honorable Minister Sir, I deeply thank you for having taken the time out and sharing your message and your thoughts and your views on this fellowship. I'm sure your motivating and inspiring speech has empowered our fellows to go into the community and make a change with their talent and with their passion. I'm sure the vision of our leadership, our country's leadership for an Atmanirbhar Bharat and an equitable society will definitely play fruit to the expectations of all of us. I wish that our fellows are living up to your expectations to the fullest. I also thank our chairman for having taken the time out today to have spoken his inspirational and motivational speech to all of us. And I would also like to thank our partner NGO, Gram Vikas, the founder, Mr. Joe Madiyar, and the ED, Mr. Lippy Johnson, who are there along with our fellows today. They have opened up their campus and their heart and homes to us to take care of our fellows during this pandemic times. And sir, I would like to tell you that despite the challenges, this is the brave set of 107 fellows who have joined us this year to make a difference. And I'm sure they will do so with your blessings and the blessings of the entire leadership of not only SBI, but of the entire country. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.